Hi, my name is Chris Dixon. I'm the co-founder of Hunch. This is Founder Stories, and today we have Soraya Dorabi from Foodspotting. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So, first of all, what is Foodspotting?
Foodspotting is a location-based mobile application for your iPhone, iPad, Android, Beta, soon BlackBerry. We help the world discover great dishes, not specifically restaurants. And because we're location-based, we work everywhere from Ethiopia to Brazil.
Okay. And how's it going?
It's going really well. Yeah. So I think, you know, we were talking before the break. We just raised a Series A, and we've surpassed 650,000 downloads of iPhone alone. Our web traffic has doubled in the past month. We're doing really well.
Okay, great. And so, like, what sort of I guess, like your sort of fantasy use case? Is it sort of like, you know, one person discovers some great dish, and then like how is it sort of different than, say, like a Yelp or something like this?
Well, we love Yelp. Foodspotting differentiates itself in a bunch of ways. First of all, we're an entirely positive platform. Because we're specifically about dishes and photos, we rely on our users to upload roughly 15,000 photos a week from their travels around the world. But the best case use scenario is when people use us just to simply locate a dish they would not have otherwise tried. So let's say I'm traveling to Paris. I go onto the website, Foodspotting. I star all of the dishes I'd like to try in Paris. I'm on an airplane, great use scenarios that were built into the digital signage of the plane, so I can sort of browse to see what's possible as well. I land in Charles de Gaulle, I switch my app to wanted only, and then all of a sudden I have my own personal scavenger hunt of the pâtés and the croissants that I might try in Paris.
Okay, that's cool. And so how did it sort of you know, the company come about?
Well, Alexa, our CEO and my co-founder, was traveling in Japan with her husband Seth. It's a great story. She saw that everyone around her in Okinawa was taking photos of their food on mobile devices, and she didn't really know where those photos were headed. Soon thereafter, she met Ted Grubb, our other co-founder. He was at Get Satisfaction at the time. Alexa was at Adaptive Path, same parent founder. And they started talking about how great it would be if a company like Foodspotting were to exist. Back then, I was.
So it kind of came out of kind of like food blogging a little bit.
Well, most social networks have been inspired by East Asian tech trends. So yeah, a combination of blogging, but also understanding the mobile universe and where everything's headed.
But, so just going back for a second, you said most mobile trends were inspired by East
social
Asian
trends, really. I mean, think about the concept of badges, virtual currency, even checking in. I mean, I think a lot of these things were happening in Asia early on.
Yeah, I remember like when ringtones were really big in Asia in like 2002, and everyone was like, oh, you know, the American VCs were like, those crazy Asians, Americans will never download ringtones. And then of course ringtones became big here, and then same thing with virtual goods, you know, same thing with like we still don't pay by phone, but they do, and eventually we will. Yeah, so like everything that they do, eventually we're going to do probably. But.
We scaled so rapidly in Japan, we've released a Japanese version of our app. A big decision for us when we were meeting with investors was working with investors that had knowledge of the Asian space, which Blue Run, our founding investment company, does.
Yeah. And so, so you just raised a round of financing. How did you find that process?
Well, Alexa mostly handled it. I helped her out in New York when I could. I think we found it to be smoother than anticipated, but a lot of that was because we did so much research in advance.
So you just sort of research in terms of like which investors to pitch, or
sometimes they invest in you, or sometimes they find you and they approach you, and sometimes we simply went to people like you, Chris, who could really help us navigate the process. But I realized that not everybody has that. That advantage in their back pocket.
Yeah, we had a few conversations about some of the terms.
Yeah, it was enormously helpful.
Oh,